The geometry test is Wednesday. What? It's day 9 of geometry. Okay, so let's talk about this week. I've got to talk more. That's what I was kind of started doing. But we have 7 days left. Okay. Right. Perfect. Okay. So today we're going to do the second day of trigonometric ratios. Anybody use it? Metric got the grades for the word? Or that's finally okay with it?
Oh, I took it. I didn't hear it.
Y'all disappointing. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. Some parents just give up completely. Like my parents stopped helping me like in the 6th grade with math. They were like, okay, well now I understand. You know what? You tell Josh that so is algebra, but he needs help with that.
Wait, I'll tell him that if I get it.
Okay, so here's what we got. So today we're going to do day 2 trigonometric ratios. Tomorrow we're going to do some mixed practice in preparation for the test on Wednesday. Your geometry test is on Wednesday. There's no review for it. It's a district test. Just make sure you're ready for it. Basically, if you're looking through your classwork, you did your classwork packet, you should be ready for it. If you didn't, then you won't, and you deserve what you get. I will tell you that the retest for this test, you do not want to take.
Okay.
Just tell me, okay? Because I made it as absolutely incredibly hard as possible to dissuade you from doing it because I don't want to have to grade it. Okay? 5 questions. Basically, you miss more than one, and you're not going to get an 8. Okay? Any questions on that? So bottom line, study for this one, you don't have to worry about it. Then we wait for a 4-day, well, Thursday, 7th graders, y'all will be in here chilling with the substitute. I don't care what you do as long as you don't get on their nerves. And 8th graders, we're going to the 8th grade celebration, main event, which I love. I don't know.
No, I did.
Because they're sweaty and loud and annoying. So that's the main event, and then we break for a 4-day weekend. Yippee, yippee, yay! And then we come back for 3 more days. The first 2 of which are your EOS exams. Tuesday and Wednesday are your EOS exams. Day 1, day 2. You will not see them a second, so you get half of it Tuesday, half of it Wednesday. Okay. Remember, you cannot retake those. There's no retest. You get what you get. So. Easiest way to get ready is make sure I would pop through maybe the EOC practice folder. It's basically, there's no geometry, it's all algebra. Okay, there's no geometry, it's all algebra. Okay, any questions? Okay, so it's probably a top 10 song of all time. Okay. Name the band. The 3 most powerful elements in the universe. That's the way they used to get introduced when they would come out at concert. They'll say, please welcome the 3 most powerful elements of the universe. And they'd be like, Earth. And they'd be like, and wind and fire and blow up, and then they'll come out on stage in the craziest, cool, glittery jumpsuit outfits you've ever seen in your entire life with these massive, like, 70s froze. It was cool. I still wanted to be one of them. And they had like a live band as part of their band was like live instrumentals. Like they had the trumpet players, the trombone players, and they were all so cool. They were dancing. So we're gonna get through this. Then we're gonna give you your EOC scores. We have your EOC scores. Okay. We got them in on Friday. I've had a chance to kind of dissect them over the weekend, and I will give you your EOC scores once we are done. Okay? I will not tell you how the school did. I will only tell you how the class and you did. Okay? Because otherwise I will tell everyone. And, yeah. You'll already know tomorrow because there's Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. So, you don't need it for it. We get you in trouble. Okay, so here we go. So trigonometric ratios. What is the first thing we start to do when we're doing trigonometry? The degree mode. So go to your calculator, go to degrees, hit enter, and bam, you're in degree mode. Now, what is the thing I want you to remember? SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. And what SOHCAHTOA does is it connects the angle to the ratio of the sides that we're going to use in order to solve it. So we go to where our angle is, and then we label the two sides that have something to do with what we're dealing with. So what does that make x as far as this angle is concerned? That makes it our opposite side, and that makes 4 our what? Adjacent side. Okay? So then once we decide that, we have to pick our trig function. Which trig function deals with opposite and adjacent? Tangent. Not TOA, tangent. Right. You clip your toenails, we use tangent in trigonometry. So what we end up with, guys, is that the tangent of 76 degrees equals the opposite over the adjacent. And then we need to isolate our variable. How do we isolate the variable in this instance? Multiply both sides by 4. So this cancels. So we simply type this into our calculator. So we type in 4 times the tangent of 76. We hit enter. And we find out that x equals 16.04 somethings. 16.04 somethings, girls. Okay, any questions on that? So here we go again. Angle. This is our opposite. We're not going to use it. So this becomes adjacent. This becomes hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So we know that the cosine of 55 degrees equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And then we use our handy-dandy trick because we have a variable in the denominator. So we do a switcheroo here. So we end up with x equals 5 divided by the cosine of 55. And so we type in 5 divided by cosine of 55. We hit enter. And we get x equals 8.72. 8.72. Any questions on that? What? Oh, my bad. So 8.7, 16.0. My bad. I read instructions like y'all do. Who knew? Look at that. Thought that was just decorative. Any questions? All right, so today we're going to talk about trigonometry in word problems. But before we do that, I have a video for your viewing enjoyment because I know how much y'all like videos. So let me just. Look at y'all. Hit him! Hit him!
On your mark, ready, step, let's go. Trigonometry, bro, I know, you know, I go side, go when I see a triangle. You just can't say, gotta get the nitty with it, all that shit. 3 angles, 3 sides, T-R-I-E, all up in the eye. So, we'll tell you where to go. You just gotta know about these 8 and 0. Everybody looking at a glance in the box. The 8 swap, 8 is 6 across. 8 is 8 up, that's after 8 is 8 up. For honest, overlook, I don't like it, because I can think of it as the O, B, making it tricky, me wrong, yo, that last side you say,
Theta is one of those Greek symbols that's used for the angle you're dealing with. Like pi and all of those. I should make you guys dance.
what? You want to solve the trick? Watch it step by fault. Try to work this day. So that your life in the middle of the palm, don't know which one. You gotta know which angle. Five seconds to be given in the palm, very nice. You know what I mean? Always long time trying to put it on, then somebody lie. It's something so hope you study. So you know when the easiest one. If you got to know what takes one, you can still let you know.
Nope, you can't. 7 kids, go family.
Yes, y'all. But there's one more. You got the legs? That makes it. Hey, it's so you
They got some groovy little moves. I can do this.
right now. You need a sign. You gotta know two things. Okay, right. You need an angle and one side. Get you is where it's an every side. See it up high, that's how you know the multiply. So we did it on your own first try. Trig to the maximum, I'll be maximum. How about the one time you gotta do television? Only fit it down below. X and the angle with a switch, you know. Last, it's angle five time. So let's get it. Trust. Beta is the goal, get it alone. Calculator, you know. When I say go, take the numbers, put the numbers on the right, get it, show it off. Now you got it. It's pretty cool.
That's got a decent groove on this one. It was a tight school. You know the coach like made everyone in PE and athletics do it, right? I like that video. Okay, so back to hold. Okay, so let's do a little bit of, oh wait, I gotta get my music back on. Joey, you can sing. Okay, so let's do some trivia. So in a word problem, do you remember when we talked about Pythagorean theorem word problems that always end up forming a right angle? SOHCAHTOA is going to do the same thing because SOHCAHTOA is specific to right triangles. So here we go. Find the height of the building to the nearest tenth of a foot. So the height of the building is going to be this guy, right? So we establish our right triangle, find our right angle, and we start labeling sides. That makes this our x, because we want the height of the building. So now we go to where the angle is. Here's our angle, and we label the sides. What does that make 52? Makes it the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. What does it make x? The adjacent. Very good. So we have our adjacent. So we look at our SOHCAHTOA sheet. Cosine. Very good, Carden. So we know that the cosine of 35 degrees equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. That's our setup. I will be looking for that setup when I'm grading. Okay? When you get to a test, I want to see this setup. So what do we do to both sides? Multiply by 52. So we simply do 52 times the cosine of 35 degrees. And that gives us, hold, 52 times cosine 35, 42.6, because I read it this time, feet, 42.6 feet. Questions on that? All right. Now we're going to bring in a little bit of architectural history. You saw this one yourself. The Leaning Tower of Pisa leans about 5.5 degrees from vertical. Now, I want you to pay attention to the fact that you have to think about which angle they're giving you. If it's leaning from vertical, then the vertical and this lean are what make the angle. That's how we know to apply the 5.5 degrees to this angle. How far will the base of the from the base of the tower will an object land if it's dropped to the tower? See if you can set this up, please. How far from the base of the tower will an object land if it is dropped? So you're going to have to determine which side are we trying to find. Remember, there are only 3 sides of a triangle. So let's see if it works. based off my drawing, I get the right angle there. And this is my x, because that's the distance from the base of the tower. Now we have to label the sides. Well, the hypotenuse is the easiest to find. The hypotenuse is opposite the right angle. That makes this the adjacent. That makes this the opposite. Right? So what strict function uses opposite adjacent? That would be tangent. So the tangent of 5.5 degrees equals the opposite over the adjacent. So we multiply both sides by 177. Pick up our calculator. 177 times tangent of 5.5 degrees equals 17.0 feet. 17.0 feet. Because it says rounded to tenth. This says rounded to tenth, I want to see the tenths, even if the tenth is 0. So make sense, Ethan? Okay. All right, last thing. No picture this time, so we have to figure it out ourselves. A person is standing 30 meters from a traffic light. So right now, they have talked to you about a person, and they've talked to you about a traffic light. And we know that this distance is 30 meters. If the angle of elevation from the person's feet to the top of the traffic light is 25 degrees. So we follow along with those instructions, and we go from the person's feet to the top of the traffic light, and it tells us that angle of elevation is 25 degrees. Find the height of the traffic light. You just need to go slowly, listen to the words, and draw as you go. So now we have 25 degrees, and we need to label our sides. That makes this our opposite side. That makes this our adjacent side, because our right angle is here according to our hypotenuse. So we end up with the fact that the tangent of 25 degrees equals the opposite over the adjacent. So in our calculator, we type in 30 times the tangent of 25 degrees to solve our problem. So 30 times tangent of 25, and I get 14.0 meters, because it's 13.989, we're rounded to tenths. Any questions on those? Guys, draw pictures. So there's the Pythagorean theorem. Draw pictures, use your trigonometric cheat sheet until you get the ratios down. This is kind of a synopsis of what we're doing over the next few days. Wednesday is your test. Wednesday's your test. Make sure your classwork packet is done. Thursday, 8th grade celebration. 7th graders all just chilling. Next Wednesday after the 4-day weekend, so here we have a 4-day weekend. Then we have semester exam part 1, semester exam part 2. No, that's not right. This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. And then Thursday is our last day of school. And that's the talk. The talk. Any questions? All right, do your work. I'll call you up one at a time and let you know how you did.